Welcome and tell us not! We are only one round left before the group stage end. The teams are desperately trying to get more points to secure the better place in the table. Let's see how they perform in 6th round. The Legends of Arizona surprised our bookmakers in the match against the Severside squad. We all expected the mighty Rat Ogres to pave the way for their smaller brethren through the Amazon defensive lines. However, our brave women did their homework after the previous match. They allowed the Rats to take the lead 0-1, focusing on the deratization of the more dangerous Skaven players, then unleashed their fury in the second half. And when Coach Moranian deployed 3 Rat Ogres on the defense line, the Amazons executed their plan. Swiftly and skillfully, they disposed of the Giants, leaving only panicked little Skaven on the field and scoring 2 touchdowns in the second half. Additionally, one of the Rat Ogres suffered a nasty injury that ended his career. But looking at the starting lineup for the Severside squad for the next match, he's already been replaced by a new, equally ferocious player. Do they produce them on some sort of assembly line or what? After the match, there was also a somewhat shameful incident involving the vandalization of the Severside squad's locker room. Responsible for the damages were Riker, the injured Rat Ogre, and the team's coach, Joseph Moranian. After writing statements, the stadium authorities decided not to file a complaint. However, the Severside squad team must make the necessary repairs. The absolute cherry on top was the battle for first place in the group between the Serpent Folk and the Albion Wanderers. Both teams thoroughly prepared for this showdown, promising an exceptional spectacle. The Serpent Folk even hired a star of epic proportions for this match, none other than Boakan Stricter himself. The Albion Wanderers began the first half in their most comfortable style. Brutal, full of violence, testing the endurance of the serpentine scales. The Serpents were no slouches, but their fangs were too weak to pierce the thick knightly armor of the Albioneers. The MVP title of this match undoubtedly went to Madeline Gondel, the captain-at-arms, who scored a touchdown for the Knights, and later secured the lead by single-handedly catching the escaping Serpent with the ball. Additionally, it's worth mentioning Aliyah Nura, the all-famous White Knight, who after this match recorded 7 confirmed casts. Our correspondent managed to grab him for a brief interview. I think we have a connection. Patrick, are you there with us?
Yes, Henry. Excuse me, sir. You already wounded 7 opposition players in 6 matches. Would you like to give your thoughts about your unavoidable Most Brutal Player award?
Get the out, or you will be my 8th!
What are you doing, sir? Please! Please stop!
Looks like we have some technical difficulties. Anyway, thank you for this exhaustive interview. Let's move on. The flesh golems and necromancers arrived at the empty stadium and found no opponents. They were somewhat disappointed as they had prepared a lot of materials for stitching up their pupils. However, surely there's nothing lost yet as they still have one more match ahead of them. Well, we don't have luck to demons this season. And now the results from the bottom of the table. Our favorite little chefs clashed with the Legionnaires in their penultimate match. Much to their dismay, the Spartans were very hungry. But for victory. All the splendid dishes prepared by the gnomes made no impression on the players of the Silesia Gladiators. The match was one-sided from the beginning. The little chefs placed great hopes in their pastry master, Mrs. Pavlova, and her explosive cakes. However, unfortunately, the pressure must have gotten to her, and she lit the wrong candles, causing a gigantic explosion on the field that not only dashed the hopes of the master chefs, but also claimed many cooks. The Gladiators notched their first win, but it's a bit too late to think about advancing from the group. But it's still something. The Doomblight Detrivers' departure from League have big tool on Group B table. Some team got more hopes to advance. The Winterstorm Maidens, after receiving a walkover victory from the Nurgle Demons, could peacefully rest and prepare for the upcoming match in Round 7. The Realm Riders approached the match against the 3 City Squiggers with far too much confidence. Intoxicated by their previous victories, the Knights thought that the little goblins on their untamed squigs wouldn't pose a challenge for them. Well, first, the goblins halted the charging Riders from scoring a touchdown in the first half, and then brutally injured many opponents from the Britannian team. Lord Bigos fell wounded. But once again, the true hero of the team, the Doctor, patched him up so well that the referees allowed the team captain back on the field for the second half. For the Goblins, it turned out to have tragic consequences, as Lord Bigos snatched the ball from them in a single raid, and after a long chase resembling something out of a Benny Hill show, he outran the enraged Goblins until the final whistle blew. This match served as a significant wake-up call for the Riders. In the playoff phase, there will be no room for errors or underestimating the opponent. It seemed that the vampires from the Necrarch clan had perfected the art of terrifying their opponents. Every team that faced them left their stadium in terror and haste. But not this time. Perhaps it was because the Dryads from the Timber team simply merged into the turf of their stadium, and something changed within them when their roots tasted the soil there. From the very beginning, it was evident that the strategy of the Tree Folks was focused on, well, what else it could have been? Violence! Surprised vampires quickly began to lose key players, and they probably thanked more for the gift of regeneration, although it didn't help much for some of them. The match ended with a score of 1-0 in favor of the Trees, who are getting closer to a sensational escape from the group stage. Just one more win. Well, actually, the match should have ended 2-0, but the Dryads got a bit lost in their violent approach, and a dispute with the referee, caused by the brutal foul, cost them priceless minutes that influenced the outcome. So you see, dear viewers, violence is not always the only answer.
But it's most coveted and we know you love it.
The latest match of the round sparked quite a controversy. The Nightcrawlers faced off against the Engineers from the Nuln Artillery Academy. The Goblins hired a star of massive proportions for this match, quite literally and metaphorically. As soon as the starting whistle blew, you could hear Adam Justeline, a fanatic from the Goblin team, shouting, "I got this!" He swung his ball on a chain so vigorously that he lost control of it, and it wrapped around him, finally hitting him on the head with a loud thud. Our valiant students, as usual, brought a tank onto the field. But this time, it didn't cause much havoc as the Goblin team coach, after several unsuccessful actions by his players, raised the white flag and hastily left the field, followed by the rest of the team, dragging Adam, still wrapped in the chain, across the ground. Also, please be advised that the recruitation for the next season will be started in 2 weeks from now. More details will be announced soon. And now remember, Nuffle hates us all. Bye!